Hello everybody, this is me Ayub Hamidi, and this talk is about how can we increase the implementation of sustainable development in the cities of Pakistan. I've chosen four key areas for this purpose. The first one is plantations or forestation. The second one is clean energy technology with the help of solar photovoltaic panels. Third one is again clean energy technologies, that is to transform waste into a resource that could be used to generate power or clean power in that case, and then water recycling plants and artificial lakes for the sake of water, for the purpose of water storage. So the first and the foremost step that cities in Pakistan can take to increase the implementation of sustainable development is to plant forest in urban areas. Urban forests are really important if we really want to have our cities steered in the direction of sustainable development. Urban forest not only regulates temperature and rainfall, it cleans the air and thus provides fresh air for us to breathe. It reduces greenhouse gases emissions. As we all know, a single tree can absorb up to 150 kgs of carbon dioxide on an annual basis. And it is a source to have, or it is a place where you can get in touch with nature and thus a way to release stress from your body and to be relaxed and calm. And it is, as we all know, it is a very best place to have to hang around with your family and to spend some quality time in nature. And then we all know as well, the areas that have forests nearby have 20% more financial worth in comparison to the areas that don't have forest nearby. So all of these reasons provide very excellent reasons or logic or let's stick to the reason why we need to have forests in our areas, because sustainability is practically incomplete without having adequate forests in any area, particularly in urban areas that need the forest the most. Last but not the least, the state of New York in USA has around 63% of its area as forest, and it earns around $1.9 billion with the help of tourism that is based in forest areas on an annual basis. So we can actually see that it not only provides us environmental benefits and social benefits, but it is financially excellent as well. Second area that we talked about, or that I referred to begin with, in the beginning, it was like solar photovoltaic technology and how it can help our cities to be an engine of sustainable development. Pakistan, as we all know, is an excellent place to produce clean electricity with the help of solar energy. So, and in that regard, China is the world's largest producer of solar photovoltaic panels. Roughly produces around 2/3 of the total number of panels across the globe on an annual basis. So by having an excellent bilateral agreement with China where we buy solar panels from China and against those purchases we pay a certain number of amount, and I mean it can be any effective bilateral agreement that both of the governments, and government of Pakistan and government of China, can sit and work together to resolve this or to come up with an effective bilateral agreement. So this would be really effective for Pakistan. Once this bilateral agreement would be done, Pakistan would have an adequate access to the solar photovoltaic panels that would then help the consumers to have access to solar PV panels on an effective rate. By doing so, this would be a right step in the right direction and at right time, and the share of solar energy technology in Pakistan would increase as well. What we can do is, like, both the provincial and central government can make it a rule that every house should get solar panels in the form of what you can say on easy monthly installments basis, and then it is mandatory for every house to install solar panels on its roof. So this would be equally good for Pakistan, both at the individual level and both at the government and national level too. And then the third and another important pillar to increase the implementation of sustainability is transforming waste to energy in Pakistan. As per a rough estimation, by year 2020, Karachi city alone would produce somewhere around 20,000 tons of waste on a daily basis. Take other major cities in Punjab like Lahore, Rawalpindi, Faisalabad, Multan, Gujranwala, and Gujarat. All these 5-6 cities would also collectively produce somewhere like roughly 20,000 tons of waste on a daily basis as well. So combine these 6-7 cities and Pakistan produces 40,000 tons of waste on daily basis. So An important thing to consider here, this waste is an extremely effective resource for us. For example, Sweden generates around 3 megawatts of energy, both heat and electricity, through each ton of waste. Pakistan can do the same. Let's say even if Pakistan produces 1 megawatt of electricity from each ton of waste, 40,000 tons of waste means 40 gigawatts of electricity on daily basis, and completely renewable. Completely renewable in a sense because it would be produced from waste, and waste is a thing that cities in Pakistan would produce on daily basis. So this way we would actually reduce the amount of waste that would end up in landfills in Pakistan. Rather, we would use it as a effective and precious resource to generate power. By doing so, we would reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. Government of Pakistan actually spends like around USD 11 billion on an annual basis to import fossil fuels to produce power, for the business sector, for the transport sector, and to produce electricity. So by producing electricity from waste would not only reduce the amount of waste that would end up in landfill, but simultaneously it would help government of Pakistan in reducing its expenditures in terms of fossil fuels. And that would be really good for Pakistan in achieving the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement, and of course in reducing greenhouse gases emissions too. And of course the same amount would really help the government in mitigating poverty as well in Pakistan. So the last and one of the most important pillars to increase the implementation of sustainable development in Pakistan is to have water recycling plants and to create artificial lakes where water could be stored once it's recycled at the end of the day. It is quite unfortunate to mention here that Pakistan is one of the most water scarce places in the world, and there's a dire need, there's a real urgency that we really need to do something about this thing in order to steer things in the right direction. So the most important step that municipal bodies in the cities and the city administration government and provincial government and central government can do in this regard is to install water recycling plants in all of the major cities and to develop artificial lake for each major city. At the end of the day, collect the water, recycle the water, and that recycled water should be saved in the lake so that it could be used next day, and repeat the same step next day as well. At the end of the next day, for example, recycle the water and then store that water again into the artificial lake. This way we would increase our surface water. By having access to adequate surface water, we would reduce our reliance on underground aquifers, and that way underground aquifers will get the opportunity to recharge. That would not only ensure sustainability for our present, but for our coming generation as well, for example 50 years from now. So it is really important that an artificial lake would be constructed for each major city, and recycling plants would be installed so that water would be recycled at the end of the day, and it would then be stored into the constructed lakes too. So all of these 4 pillars that I mentioned or discussed in this talk are really important to implement when it comes to creating a sustainable present and future for us and for our coming generation. The given proposals are feasible and realistic and are certainly in implementation form in many countries across the globe. Thank you for your time and attention. Take care.